Let's talk a little bit about eating more and losing weight. There's no reason why you should not be able to eat more calories and drop weight if you're coming from a huge calorie deficit. Let me explain. All right, today we're going to talk about why you're eating less and you're getting softer. Maybe the scale's moving in the wrong direction. Your lifts are feeling terrible. You have no energy. You're falling asleep by 2 p.m. or God forbid you're drinking 2, 3 energy drinks a day. You're scratching your head because you're like, I'm eating clean. I've cut out gluten. I've cut out all the things that I know I shouldn't be eating. And yet I feel worse and I'm gaining, right? So we're going to talk about the villain of the story. When I talk to most women, anywhere from 30 to 60, chronic undereating. And let's talk about it because this is probably one of the biggest issues most people deal with. Because once you chronically undereat, your stomach is actually one of the things that'll actually contract and expand based off how much volume you put in it. So if you're chronically eating 1,100, 1,200 calories a day, your stomach's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And guess what? You're not going to be hungry. So if you are one of those people who are like, I just, I forget to eat or I'm not hungry, you're training your body to not be hungry. Your body is in fight or flight, in survival mode because you are not fueling it. And you're going and working out and you're doing your thing. So today we're going to go through the 3-phase framework that I've used with over 200 women when we look at reverse dieting in specific. And we've got 2 pretty in-depth client stories coming up. Might actually be a third, a little teaser at the beginning and then 2 coming in. And then you might even get to see me shirtless in this. So don't hold your breath too much. But I'm super excited to talk today about chronic undereating and reverse dieting because it's such an important tool for us. So let's talk about one of my clients. She came to me feeling stuck. She came to me feeling super lost as to what to do. She was working out. She was eating clean, but in her case, she wasn't seeing muscle gain and she had kind of plateaued with fat loss and she was feeling stuck, right? And so she came to me with a couple different pieces in mind that she wanted to work on. Glutes, thighs, legs, definition in arms and shoulders. I would say we definitely did that. She actually gained a little bit of weight, right? Which she was open to because we were looking at it through a lens of we're gaining muscle, we're dropping body fat percentage, our lifts are getting stronger, we have more energy, we're feeling awesome. She is actually a flight attendant too. So for work, she is up, down, and sideways. If she can prep food and keep food on the go, you can too. I know you can. There's no excuses. And so we're going to talk about why she went from feeling lost in the gym, like her weights were plateauing, like she couldn't drop any weight on the scale, to more of that toned muscle you can see look, not so much just the scale, right? And so a lot of women fall into this like skinny fat trap, right? Where they don't want to get big, so they want to get smaller, but they end up looking softer and softer, especially as you get into perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, or even postpartum. Because you're under eating, your body's not prioritizing muscle. So you're not going to have that shape, right? The muscle is what creates that toned look. And you're not giving your body what it needs to actually recover. So your body's pulling from what it needs to survive, the muscle, right? We're losing that shape. And so this is how we actually added calories on for her. So we slowly reverse dieted her up. And I'll talk to you a little bit about what that means. We got her at a good plateau. We got her to eat her maintenance, and then we cut her down to get her nice and toned and some abs popping out and feeling really, really confident. She was lifting more than ever. She had more energy. Her cycle was more regulated than it's ever been, and her cortisol was at an all-time low, right? And so you'll notice when you give your body what it needs, it's going to reciprocate 10 times, tenfold, right? And so food is not the enemy. You just need to learn how to use it, specifically carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are not the enemy. We just need to learn how to use it. So this is a nice little, I'm getting better at these graphs, guys. So I'm really excited to walk you through this. This is what we look at from in terms of a perspective of what are we doing in terms of a timeline. So we're going to take our calories. Most people come to me, they're under eating or they have no idea how much they're eating, right? They're throwing stuff at a wall and they're seeing what sticks. They're eating healthy, right? But healthy does not necessarily mean it's tracking for the goals that we want to see. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to feed your metabolism. We're going to get it rocking and rolling normally again. So we're going to go up and reverse you, which means slowly bring you up from eating like a mouse to eating like a normal human being in a reverse, right? And so once we reverse you, you get back up, your metabolism starts moving, we actually have room to cut you back down, right? So you may gain a little bit of weight here, maybe. Most people will gain a little bit of weight, mostly muscle weight, and then some water weight from the carbs and the glycogen. And then we slowly cut you down. And what this will do is your metabolism is running smooth enough now where it knows what to expect here as we're cutting, so that it actually is going to prioritize the muscle and make us look toned, give us that toned look, right? And so this is a really cool phase here because you go up, and a lot of people get that like scared, oh my gosh, I'm eating more than I thought I would, which for most people is, 1,600 calories is what we bring them up to, depending on your body, your goals, what you're trying to look like. Then we cut you back down. And I promise you, you spend a couple months refeeding your metabolism, refeeding your system, you are going to be blown away at the muscle you can build, and that can be visible by the end of this cut, right? And so that's what we do. We bring you up, then we cut you, and then guess what? You cannot, I had a client this week reach out to me and say, Zach, I'm frustrated. I'm feeling stuck, right? My weight is kind of plateauing. And you can't chronically diet. She was under eating from the calories we were giving her, we were telling her, and she had been there for quite a while. And I was like, well, we're trying to get you to come up, but you're kind of hanging out here, not giving your body that opportunity to rebuild. So you really need to think of this as a 2 to 3 month window to give your body, and we'll talk timelines a little bit later, but you need to give your body what it needs to actually build and create that momentum. So your metabolism, your thyroid, cortisol drops, everything starts moving the way we want it to, right? And so once we start cutting, you'll see some crazy results, and then we need to take a break. You can't be in a deficit for too long. So then we bring you back up to your total daily energy expenditure, right? And so that's going to be how many calories you need to eat on a daily basis to fuel your body, so your body feels safe, so it can continue. Potentially here, we still drop some weight, but our calories are back up, our proteins are back up. We're feeling really, really good. We're feeling really, really strong. And you get that like tight to the skin muscle look, right? Where you're looking really, really good, right? And so this is not a quick, let's go up and let's go down. It takes about 2-3 weeks for your metabolism to really set in stone. So you have to think, instead of days, we have to think weeks, months, right? And so this is where it's really hard for us and our brains to comprehend, well, more for a prolonged period of time, isn't that going to mean gain weight? But in reality, we're going to gain muscle, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit as to why that's like a secret like hack in terms of fat loss. If we gain muscle, your body needs to work harder and we burn more fat. So we'll talk about that too. And so if we skip this order, or if you continue to eat this very low amount, 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day, there's nowhere for us to drop to. There's nowhere for your body to feel safe to, and you're going to stay stuck, right? So that's why you see people, if you have a lot of weight to lose and you start at a really low deficit, great. You're going to see a lot of results, and then something's going to stick or backfire, or God forbid, you injure yourself, you hurt yourself because you're not giving yourself enough to actually perform your best, right? And so let's take a look here at the map. So I love to look at a reverse. If we're looking at like a 1 year scale, right? A verse would be 4 months. So reversing you slowly up. That way you're not feeling like you're choking down food, right? We want you to have that time to build back your metabolism, build back and start to feel good, build muscle. Then we go into a nice 12-week cut where you are seeing a ton of muscle definition. You're seeing and feeling a lot better. This is where we really start to get in charge of our body and own our body and feel it. And then we go into a little diet break for 8 weeks, right? And so you can continue this cycle year over year and start to see really good results. That's how you're going to stay low body fat percentage, lower on the scale, but bigger muscles and more toned look, not bodybuilding tone, but I'm talking lean, mean fighting machine, right? And so I want people to start thinking about things at a longer scale. And this is what I talk to my clients about all the time. And that skinny fat trap is going to keep you right in this cut phase for an extended period of time. We've all done it, right? Like I've tried to prep for go to the beach soon, and I want to look good on the beach, and I cut my calories, but you look smaller, your lifts get a lot less strong, and you don't look as good, right? Because your muscles get soft. You start to burn muscle for energy. And so that's why we really need to work on giving ourselves adequate enough protein, but also building the foundation to be able to cut, right? And so this is how we use food and not make it the end of it, especially carbs. Carbs are instrumental for this. So let's talk about We've got a couple clients here. So Adora in her 50s, right? She is freaking awesome. She is down almost 30 pounds now. She's more so in perimenopause, and she was coming off of eating very, very, very low calories and being very inactive, right? So we bumped her steps up. We bumped her up to like mobility, strength training at home. And now we've got her up to 5 days a week, focusing on sleep, steps, and focusing on resistance-based training. And what a world of a difference it's made. What a world of a difference. She looks, acts, talks like a different human being. Not just her body, but her skin is so much clearer. She feels so much better. She is kicking butt. And so we took her from where she started down at like 1,000 to 1,200 calories. We bumped her back up to 1,700, not right away, right? We took our time to get there. And then the scale was not moving as quickly as, right, as you hope, because you're like, okay, wow, I'm trusting you, Zach. We're going to go up and then we'll go back down. So the first couple of months, it's not like we saw crazy drops. We saw some momentum, but now is where the momentum is really starting to pay off. We're midway through that cut and she is kicking butt, right? She's gained a ton of muscle. She feels a lot better, energy a lot better, cycles a lot better, all of that kind of fun stuff, right? And we did blood work to start too, and we took a look at her cortisol or estradiol. So we made sure this was all aligned with her body and what her body needs. Now she is eating more than she has in a long, long time, and she's leaner than she's been in 20 years, right? And so let that sink in. It may take a couple of months to start, but you can see crazy progress, crazy quick. And the cool part about this is she still has a lot to go, and we can do it with the plan that we have in place. I also have Trina here, who's down over 30 pounds, right? Same story. She was a chronic undereater. She was also working she's a flight attendant. She'd eaten 1,000 to 1,200 calories here, there at the terminals where she could. She is stalled. She was exhausted. She just felt not like herself anymore, right? And so we did the same protocol. We got her eating a little bit more. We got her metabolism moving. She doesn't have access to a big box gym. She doesn't have access to the same meal prep services or having a kitchen all the time that most people do. And so we found a way to do things while she's on the go to make sure we could reverse her back up to 1,700 calories. Then we cut, right? And she's only with us for about 6 months. So not only did she lose the weight, right? The 30 pounds, people want to see 60, 70, 80 pounds, right? Whatever that crazy number is, but her clothes fit better. Her body fat was down. Her blood pressure was down. Her cholesterol was down. Everything moved in the right direction. And she feels better than she ever has. And so when we're looking at the scale, that's only one data point, right? We need to look at the whole picture. If you are down 30 pounds, but you're up in muscle mass, you're feeling better, you're eating more, you have a sustainable process. That is so much better than being down 60 pounds, feeling terrible, not liking the way you look, not liking the way the clothes fit, and feeling more gaunt and with more loose skin, right? So this was a very good process for her. Her body took on to it like a wildfire, where it was able to actually drop the weight very quick. And she's still eating more than she was when she started. So she's found a really good rhythm here. And this is not just for women. This worked exceptionally well for women anywhere from 30 to 60, but for men too, right? This is me. This is that shirtless photo I promised you. This was my last reverse diet. Before this, I got to be honest, I was working out, wasn't really paying attention to my food. This is when I was more running around hospital, consulting with physicians. This was when I was my busiest and I didn't have access to a kitchen or to food or to a consistent schedule, right? I lived out of my car pretty much. I would sleep in between cases in my car, and I was able to build back up fairly quickly. Reversed from, I was probably eating, 1,400 calories a day, reversed back up to 2,000 to 2,400 calories a day, and then cut back down to 16 to 1,800 calories a day. Lots of protein, lots of carbs, and my lifts were so much better. I felt so much better. I had way more energy. I felt stable in the OR to where I could stand all day long, walk around all day long. I felt more confident. I felt more with it. I'd have to eat or drink anything that like with sugar would kill my body. It wouldn't feel good. But more than that, it was getting away from the caffeine and starting to feel like I didn't need a nap. I could take on the day, right? And so once you make that commitment The food really helps to give you a nudge in the right direction, and eating a little bit more really helps. But your metabolism doesn't care about gender. It doesn't care about anything. It just cares about you taking care of yourself. And once you are giving your body what it needs nutrient wise, it'll start to move in the right direction. And so the same philosophy applies to anyone, right? If you are under eating, if you are starving yourself, it will only take you so far, and you are going to look soft and feel not your best. You're going to feel terrible, right? And so we've all done it. But here is the explanation as to why you start to feel better, right? Your body's actually burning more calories. So muscle is about 13 calories per pound that your body will actually burn to keep you moving and grooving, your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, whereas fat is only about 2 calories per pound. So your body has to, that's like almost, 7 times as much to maintain the muscle than it does the fat. That's a crazy stat. If you want to do anything, this is why everybody talks about like building muscle more than anything. If you want to do anything for your fat loss, this is it. If you could build a ton of muscle, your body will automatically burn fat 6 times more, right? And so this is a great thing to think about and to actually entice you to want to build, right? I promise you, you don't just trip and fall and become a bodybuilder. It takes a lot to do that. So this is going to be around reversing you back up, building that muscle, and then starting to cut you back down with that extra fire in the furnace, right? And so this is how it actually feels, right? When you're chronically under eating 1,000 to 1,200 calories, you start to cut more and fast and try all these things to give yourself less and less nutrients, but you feel exhausted, you feel tired, it's not sustainable. With some of those fasts, you feel good for the first couple of days, and then from there, it's not sustainable, right? And so once you start to reverse up, you'll notice your hormones, your mood, your energy, everything starts to reverse. Then you get to this happy face around 1,700 calories where everything's moving and reversing and you got your energy back. And then once we get you to that like holding of 1,500, right? And this is only estimates. It's going to depend on your body and your goals. But once you get back there, everything starts to look a little bit clearer. You start to feel a little bit better. You start to realize, wow, okay, I can't operate in this zone. I need to operate in this zone. And that's an amazing feeling when you realize that we can use food actually fuel fat loss, right? It's a really cool feeling. And so this is what we focus on here, is building a sustainable long-term plan to keep you where you are. Because I promise you, if you build that muscle and then you cut down and you have that foundation, doesn't matter if you fall off, you're still going to have that muscle memory. Your body's still going to be able to get back into that routine. After a year of doing this, you will hold more than you've ever held before in terms of muscle and in terms of leanness and how you're feeling. And that is why we have all 5-star reviews. If you go on Google, you check us out. If you go to some of our landing pages, you'll see all of the women who work with us rave with us because we give them more food. Their lives get better. They feel better. Their hormones start to feel a little better. They understand what's going on in their body, and they're able to track and analyze and manage this in a way that's sustainable and doesn't feel like they're counting every little piece of rice that they have to put in their body, right? And so if you take anything away from this, I want you to think of less restriction and more addition into your life, because that reverse diet, that giving your body what it needs, is going to take you way further than eating 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day. I promise you that. You're going to feel better. You're going to look better. I mean, everybody wants to look good. We're getting into July here. Look good on the beach, right? Think about it. If you start now, by next summer, you will be, no one will understand how you've done it. They'll ask you if you're on a GLP or what your crazy protocol is, right? And realistically, all you have to do is focus on your food and your eating, make sure we're giving our metabolism enough, make sure we're looking at our hormones and cortisol and working with that, and lifting 3, maybe 4 times a week, 30 to 45 minutes. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It just has to be the right plan for your goals, right? Again, we're not throwing stuff at a wall. We're making sure we have the right plan and the right process for what you need. If you want to sit down, go through this together around you, your goals, what you're trying to do, and see if we can reverse you back up into feeling more confident, sexy, independent, aligned with yourself, I'm going to put the link in my bio to apply to have a conversation with us. The conversations are absolutely free. We talk to you and only you, and we go through a personalized plan for you that we think we can help with. Either way, I'll also put my Instagram in there. I post about things like this every single day. Go ahead and give me a follow and go ahead and comment below what you want me to focus on next. I always love getting feedback. I'm newer to YouTube. I'm putting more content out there, but Instagram, it's been an amazing ride to see, oh, this is what people are interested in. And this is what I need to talk about to share this information with you, because this doesn't have to be rocket science. This does not have to be something that's behind a gate and you can't know about, right? Should be taught in high school with taxes. Those things are not taught, right? And so this is where we really need to take charge of our body and take charge of our lives to make those decisions, to have these conversations and bet on ourselves, invest in ourselves mentally, emotionally, physically, so that we can get to the point we want to, rather than starving and depleting ourselves, right? So please go out, go eat some food, eat some good food, lift heavy, feel good in your body. And if you want to have a conversation, go ahead and click the link below and fill out the form so we know what's going on to have a conversation with you. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. Comment below with other ideas of what you want to see, and let's get you to this happy face rather than the sad face.